Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the press conference of the Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series here in Leogang, Salzburgland, Austria. And today we'll be having with us for the downhill, Ronan Dunn from Mondraker Factory Team, Valentina Hull from YT Mob, Andy Kolb from Continental Atherton. Also joining us for E-EDR, Hannah Steinthaler from Austria, and for E-EDR, Ryan Gilchrist from the Yeti Fox Factory Race Team. Let's get this underway. First and foremost, thank you to our athletes. Welcome. Let's start with Ronan. Ronan, first and foremost, congrats on what a performance that was in Poland. And you carried that into the hardline in Wales last weekend. Tell us about how that went, and has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, cheers, boss. Yeah, definitely kind of sunken in a bit. It's pretty wild to say I won a World Cup, but then also kind of sounds right as well. But yeah, it's pretty stoked to take that one off, being so close last year behind Ushin. And yeah, and then going into hardline, I was definitely pretty confident kind of going into a hardline race. You're definitely missing a lot of the field, but it's a completely different style race. And then to get a Red Bull helmet as well during that week was pretty sweet. So yeah, and then yeah, Dream Week again in Wales. It's definitely pretty wild track, so it's quite nice to put down a steady enough but quick run on that. So yeah, feeling good for this one.
Look good anyway, for sure. Great racing. In Poland was a special weekend for the team. Yourself, Dakota, did very well, qualifying very fast and fastest in the semis. Unfortunately, a bit of a slip up at the start of his run. And Ryan, I think, learning the ropes with this new Mondraker factory team. What's the vibe like right now within that team?
Yeah, the vibe is pretty good coming into the team. I think everyone's pretty stoked. Like even the vibe, the whole from the first race or the team camps, it's always great fun. But yeah, we're definitely pretty buzzing and hungry as well. Like I feel like just after these past few weeks, it's kind of like, okay, we've done it once, then there's no reason to do again. And yeah, winning's pretty fun. So I think like downhill is a good sport because you come in cocky and confident and then land on your face first turn. But I mean, yeah, it's yeah, I'd say the vibe's pretty good.
What convinced you to make the move to this new team? There's never, when you're making a move like that, there's no truths. There's nothing to be 100% sure about. What was the motivation for you?
Yeah, like as a kid, Mondraker was like my favorite brand. I had one myself, and it was like a pretty sick brand. And then just from the racing side, it just felt like it dropped a bit, and it was always quite upsetting as a kid to see that. And I always like to be part of that bring up for Mondraker is kind of a dream come true, and kind of just yeah, make the brand win races again. It's pretty like, I think that was kind of the motivation, and like everything they're saying is what I was after, and everything they said is they did everything they said they would do, and yeah, here we are. So yeah, it was cool last year looking around teams and talking to managers, but yeah, I definitely felt like I did the right move.
The track here has some similarities with what we saw in Bielsko-Biała in Poland. Very fast section at the top, then there's a bit of a steepness, then we get into it. I'd like to hear from you, Andy and Valley, on the similarities and how you can carry what happened in Poland into racing here this weekend.
Yeah, like definitely with the natural stuff for sure. Like the whole bottom section, I feel like that's kind of where the race really starts for me. Like that's where you can make time. It's pretty steep, natural, and yeah, it's pretty sick. But then also like Poland, there was a lot of flat pedally stuff, and we have that here with the motorway. Even though it might be one of the most, like, doesn't seem like the most important section, it definitely is. Like I feel like last year I threw away a podium on it just because I'm shocking on motorways. So we'll try to do it differently here. But yeah, I really like this track. It was my second best result last season, and yeah, looking forward to getting onto it.
Valley, you've had a love-hate relationship with this course and its different iterations over the last few years. Last year, you found the piece of puzzle and you put it in and you knocked it out of the woods here. What's your thought on what happened, because you had a bit of a bad luck also in Poland, and the comparisons between that course and this one right here in Leogang at home?
Well, I guess it's nice to come back to a home World Cup. I crashed in Poland, and it definitely gives me a bit of fire to come back and do well here. I mean, Andy and I had an amazing race last year here, so it felt like a new Austrian national holiday, to be honest. So yeah, coming back here, the track is pretty much the same as last year. They put some new fresh stuff in that we're gonna cut in, and it's gonna be quite tricky, I guess. But it's good to have some new natural features in because the rest seems to be really well written in. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
That's a good thing because that is really what made the show in Poland is the fact that it was new, it was natural, and you had to cut it in, as you said.
Yeah, especially for beat practice, it was amazing in the morning and then a shock in the afternoon. So yeah, I don't think we will have that massive shock tomorrow, but for sure the weather is going to be unpredictable, so it's going to be a gamble on Sunday.
We'll get back to that Austrian holiday in a few moments. Andy, I'd like to get your feel on this track and how it compares a bit to what we had in Poland, because it was organic. It just kept on changing, run after run, session after session.
Yeah, true. I think every run was different in Poland. I think it's not too similar to Poland, I would say. This is more like speed, not like speed carrying like Poland was. This is more like on the brakes, I would say. While Poland, you could see in Ronan's run, he was like pedaling out of every turn. That's like, I think we have like 3 corners on this track, I guess, where we really pedal out. So yeah, more downhill, faster, and yeah, just straight down the hill.
As fast as you can. Tell us about that day. As we saw you here on the track, we saw you celebrating at the podiums and all that, but I heard a lot went on after and then the days, the weeks following. What changed? What changed for Austrian mountain biking on that day?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of party first. And what changed? I hope it's going to be a bit of a change for the future of our sport in Austria. Kids hopefully are inspired by our results and just want to do racing. And I think we can already see it's moving up a little bit better and kids having fun about racing a bit more. So yeah, I hope it's moving in the right direction.
Vali, what did you see change, or what do you feel has moved a bit forward in Austrian mountain biking since that historical day where you and Andy won last year?
Well, I guess also the respect for our sport just grew a lot more in Austria. Like skiing is so big in Austria, and biking was always like more of a side product. But I feel like all the tourism places, they realize that they can make really good money with mountain bikers, and we're not enemies. Like we are friends, and we can bring a lot of money into it. As a racer in Austria, it just felt amazing that we made it happen. Like it is possible, and we have the best infrastructure in Austria to actually get more good races, because like look at all the Kiwis and Australians and the UK people, like they're so quick and there are so many, but what's the reason that it's not working in Austria? And I feel like Andy and I maybe make a little change, and the kids are stoked to get on the bikes.
I'm just going to throw this over to you, Hannah, because you have downhilled. You were vice Austrian champion last year in downhill. Did you see anything change? Do you feel that there was a spark that was lit by Andy and Vali when that happened last year?
Yeah, I was in tears, like for real. When I saw that happening, yeah, it just was an amazing feeling. And I think to start with pushing downhill into the public, and enduro can also follow. So I think it's just great that it gets more attention and that people just follow it and like to watch it.
Well, especially here in Salzburgland, if I'm not wrong, this is the biggest bike region in this country.
Yeah, I think this region is the biggest one, and I think that also Austria has a lot of potential for more regions to grow. So I'm sure that Saalbach and Leogang is an how to say fast mover in this section. So yeah, I hope that there will come more.
You've gone from top 30s last season to a top 13 and a top 9 in the 2 first races this year. What's been the game changer?
I don't know, actually. I had less bike time in the winter time. I got my new bike, so I changed bike, obviously, but I got my new bike in March, so pretty early, like just a few weeks before the first World Cup race. And I just spent a lot of time in the gym. I had a new training setup and have a new surrounding now, so I just feel good and I have fun, and I don't pressure myself too much, so it works. And yeah, I'm happy and stoked.
Interesting what she was saying, Andy, about pressuring and all that. The season this year is not to your liking. You finished on a very strong note last year. World Championships medal, great performance on the World Cup. Things have been a bit more tedious to start this season off. Have you put your finger on it yet, or is it just the nature of the beast?
Bit of both, I would say. I was just, how much was it? 0-6 off the podium in Poland, which was painful. I think one less mistake and I would have been celebrating and having the best time of my life with Ronan on the podium. But I think I was just off body-wise. I had a bit of a cold, I think like 7-8 weeks ago. And I just dragged it on and dragged it on and dragged it on. I was just not feeling great. And I think if you're not 100%, it's quite hard to perform 100%. And Fort William was my first race after an injury. I broke my wrist in February. So I think this was like, just getting back. And I think now we're 100% and ready to do it again.
Well, one man who's riding 100% right now is Ryan Gilchrist from the Eddie Fox factory race team. Ryan, you've been the most consistent over the start of the season on the UCI Enduro World Series. What would you say that was it the off-season preparation? Is it just the way that you've approached this mentally, physically? What's been the big difference?
Well, it's my second year with the Yeti Shimano EP racing team. And first year was great. And I think the second year we're just starting to build a bit of momentum, learning where the pieces go. It's a great staff. It's a great program. And I think really finding my own form on the bike and off the bike and getting to know the whole program a little bit more has come together in those first 2 races. And it's been quite the success. And I'm very proud of how we've performed there.
You've had a very interesting season looking at your results. You've done pump track competitions, downhill competitions, enduro competitions, E-enduro. Is this multidisciplinary approach a key to your success, you think, right now?
Well, I mean, if I'm able to perform in all of them, why not do all of them? Like it's really exciting program that Yeti Shimano has put together. Being able to race all the Crankworks races, being enduro pedal national champion, pump track national champion, and now racing in the World Cup and holding 2 leaders jerseys in E-EDR and Crankworks currently. It's very special for it to all be coming together at one time, and I can't thank the support enough. It's been amazing to put together.
Tell us a bit about some of your famous teammates. How's that relations been? Because we've seen it with, example, Loic and Finn on the downhill side. How are you guys working that one out?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I have to pinch myself every now and then and realize that I'm staying in an accommodation with Mick Hanna, Richie Rude, and Sławomir Lukasik. All of these guys are like pedigree, and my coach is Jared Graves. So it's just surrounded by giants. So every single second I'm around them, I'm learning stuff and picking stuff up. And as a teammate on the Yeti Shimano side, Mick couldn't ask for anything better. Like a true gentleman and just the definition of what you would want as a good teammate. So really got a good setup going on.
That's cool. For Andy, once again, Vali and Ronan, I think it's one of the first seasons I can remember in at least 10 years where, take away the COVID years, where pretty much everybody, the big names, are healthy, for a few exceptions. Is that putting more pressure, you think, Andy, on all these athletes, especially an athlete like yourself that's been at the top for the last few years? Ronan maybe just starting off, but you and Vali, you've been at this, really at the summit of your art the last few years. Is that a bit more pressure, you find?
I would not say so. First of all, it's cool to see everybody healthy except Jackson Golds. So I think he's the only guy in our category. But if I think about last year, my win, sometimes in my head I'm like, Piron wasn't there. And Piron is one of the boys I want to beat, like when he had a good day as well. So I think it's really good to see everybody healthy nearly. And if you win, it's just the best feeling when you beat everybody.
Vali, for you, you're really being put to test this year because Miriam's back, Tani's back, pretty much in shape. Kemi is back. How are you feeling that? Is that a motivator? Is that something that you're looking at and you're going like, wow, this is my moment to shine. This is where I'm really going to show what I'm capable of.
Well, I guess this is what we all have been waiting for. Like, this is what we work for, that the women's racing is intense and incredible to watch. I mean, now there's at least 6 women who can win the World Cup, and then to get on the podium is even harder. And this is the kind of racing that we've always waited for. Like, of course, it was amazing to see Rachel beat everyone by like 10 seconds, but now it's like the spread is only like 2 seconds, and that's insane. And I think it's pushing us a lot more than it used to do in the past. So I'm happy to be a part of that.
Well, definitely leading the pack, that's for sure. Ronan, as a up-and-comer, and I don't mean that as an insult, but as a developing rider, how do you see that? Where do you slot in there? The 2 weeks ago's win in Poland must have really, said, okay, I'm at that point, I'm ready for this.
Yeah, it definitely makes it feel better when everyone's at their best to beat them, for sure. And I hope it stays like that because it just makes it feeling better. But yeah, to be kind of still new in the sport, I think this time 3 years ago, I was racing my first Elite World Cup here. So it's quite cool to come in with it. But yeah, it's pretty sick.
Cool stuff. Anna, you're racing with the national champions sleeve. You are the Austrian national champion. Must be pretty special to be here at home. Are you from the region, from exactly this region here?
Not exactly. I used to live in Innsbruck for 7 years, but I recently moved home. So it's about 3 hours from here, but I know the trails.
Still a local.
Still, no, yeah, kind of local.
But so what does it feel like? Is it something that puts extra pressure on you to be wearing that Austrian national champions sleeve, to be out here and have all the Austrian fans just go crazy and cheering your name?
I hope they will. I hope they will cheer my name. No, but last year I think I did the mistake to put too much pressure onto myself, and it didn't work out, and I was just not feeling good. And I think I don't want to put too much pressure on me, and I just want to take the day as it comes tomorrow. And training today was very nice. It will be spicy tomorrow for sure, but I'm just stoked to ride at home and have my friends here and people who speak Austrian. So I like that feeling. Yeah.
I liked what you just said about saying that, we'll go one race at a time, enjoy the day and all that. But behind all that, is there, now that you've been 13th, you've been 9th, is there that real dream, that real belief that a podium is in reaching, really in striking distance for you this season?
Yes, I mean, of course it is. Otherwise, we won't be competing, I guess. So you have to have this feeling inside. But I just, I don't want to make this mistake again. And the thing is that now I know I can be there. Of course, that it's making a bit of pressure, but I just want to handle it.
Carpe diem, as they say, one day at a time. Back to you, Ryan. 2 weeks ago already, or actually 3 weeks, Swaczek Łukaszyk's victory in Poland really came, I think, in the E-enduro as he really wanted a bit of revenge for those hundredths of second in which he lost the enduro. He's not here this weekend, or he's not registered for the E-enduro, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Who do you see as your biggest rivals going into this race?
Biggest rivals for sure. The Canyon boys riding really fast. Mick Hanna could pull it out any day. He's a fast boy, and there's so many competitors in there that can always be going quick, and they're all mates, they're all friends. We really enjoy getting around the course, have a lot of fun together. But when it comes down to throwing down on the stages, there's always lots of fast people.
Okay, so it's my chance to always ask you that squeaky question. Apart from yourselves, who's going to win this weekend?
Yeah, Mick Hanna.
Okay. Andy?
It's always a thought I don't like.
Especially at home.
I mean, hopefully Charlie or this guy over there, Ronan.
Okay.
Back to back, maybe not giving too much.
Tough one. Someone that's not so close in your role to me.
Very good answer.
Yeah, I'd say the exact same. Someone below me on the overall or above me. So, I'm going to say Andy Kolb for the win. And then hopefully no French on the podium would be pretty nice as well. So,
it's okay, they're not here.
Maybe another Irishman as well. But, we'll have to. I think it'll be a good race regardless.
Hey, two in less than a year is pretty good for the Irishman.
I would say Isabeau.
Yeah.
She won last year, and it's her not kind of last season, so she wants to smash it for sure.
Thank you, folks. That's all the questions I have, but we'll open the floor to definitely some out there. Anybody have questions for our athletes?
Ronan, when excuse me, when Dak came down after his crash, he wasn't as stoked for you as I thought he would be. Is there any like sort of rivalry within the team, or was it just him being a bit gutted about his run? And
Yeah, I think like as I say, like your teammate's always your biggest competitor, really, or your fellow countryman. But yeah, like I think I'm sure it's pretty tough to take it in, like being first in semis, and it's definitely like I was pretty gutted for him. It's not the way you want to see your teammate go, but yeah, it is. I suppose that's racing. It's pretty sucks, but yeah, like I'm sure he's gonna put me in my place soon enough at some stage. But yeah, it's definitely a tough one.
do you think there's a bit of a fire in the belly with him then?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure he's staring me out of it somewhere, just waiting for his chance. But yeah, it means like it's good racing. It's good motivation for all of us to like keep edging each other on. So I think that's the best way for any team, really. It's like everyone wants to be friends, but everyone wants to beat each other. So it's a good way to do it.